Y'all, Wizard101 just put out a major announcement. It is officially their birthday month, so they're giving away free membership to every person that logs into the game for the rest of the week. That is right, now through September 9th, if you log on to the game, you could experience the game like any paying member without paying anything. That includes free zones, more friends space, more backpack space, all that jazz. And added on to that, just like previous birthdays, they also put out a code. So if you do redeem the code SWEET16 before the end of the month, you'll get all of these items on the screen, including what I would argue are must-haves like the crafting benefit elixir. That elixir is so clutch for certain things, so I highly recommend redeeming it as well. Now, I will say this, even though obviously I'm not going to say, I'm mad about free membership, I do think that the timing of this one is kind of obnoxious. I'm just gonna get this one out there. If y'all remember, about 11 months ago, I uploaded a video talking about how lackluster the 15th birthday celebration for Wizard101 felt. That video got a lot of views. A lot of people were agreeing because, compared to the 5th birthday where they made some cool custom items, and the 10th birthday where they added a custom quest line, the 15th birthday, they didn't really do anything special. And back then, the criticism was, why are we only getting free membership for 2 weeks? And I get it, maybe 16 isn't as special as 15 because, I guess, arbitrarily it's not. I still think as time goes on, they should try to make it so that they keep upping the ante a little bit, or at least, if it's not going to be longer times of free membership, maybe other perks that we can get to celebrate our loyalty, because every year I would argue that we're loyal to Wiz should be a better reward. I think that's how it should work. And the other thing which I find very annoying about this is that Labor Day weekend just happened. Now, I want to say this is unfortunate timing because previous times at the beginning of the month where they do like a free membership period, because of the way Labor Day works, like the first Monday of the month and yada yada, it could be in such a way where the weekend actually does fall under the free membership. But I think because it was August before the month started and then it just hit the weekend, they weren't at work, I guess during Labor Day weekends, they couldn't turn on the free membership. I'm not trying to blame anybody, but I do think it's kind of annoying that a potentially very high traffic weekend is now just basically, it's just lost, right? And for a lot of people, Labor Day weekend is their last huzzah. So I kind of feel like there's a couple of things that they did with this free membership I'm personally not a fan of. Hopefully, that doesn't happen in the future because that would be nice. Why not take advantage of good things? But that being said, since the last time they did free membership, which was before the beginning of August, a lot of things have changed. In the video where, I talked about that, I talked about all the things that have changed since the previous free membership, and y'all really appreciated that. And honestly, this time there's a lot to talk about as well. One thing that I literally have not gotten a chance to talk about is their new game that they're putting out. Other than the time where they announced it, they haven't really given us any updates on it, Ravenwood Academy. But Wiz was just at PAX West 2024, and they just played a new demo of the game, which is our first look into all the development that they've been putting in to a spin-off of Wizard101. That is right. In this year, we've gotten to the point where they can make spin-offs of this game. And from what I can tell y'all, it looks really, really cool. It looks like they're reusing quite a few assets. I think in a way that's strategic, They want to keep probably the nostalgia. I assume that it's going to be very Wizard City or maybe even just Ravenwood-centric. And if y'all are unaware about this game, it's not like an MMORPG like Wiz. It's supposed to be like a decision-based game. I guess it's going to be very dialogue-heavy, where depending on the decisions that you make and I guess the friends that you make and at Ravenwood, you basically get different outcomes. It's like one of those like Telltale games where I would argue probably they're going for anyways, a bunch of different storylines, so there's some replayability. Now, this does look like they put quite a bit of development time into this because it looks really polished. I think they're going for like a mobile game aesthetic, but based on what I can see, this is something it's come a long way since the teasers that we got a few months ago when they first announced this. The other thing that is gigantic news in terms of like where Wiz is going is obviously the big console news that dropped just a few days ago. They're expanding Wizard101 onto Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo Switch, and though they're early phases on this, we've already seen leaks where they've started adding an interface so you can choose which console to log on to. And we even have some early details like whether crossplay is going to be a thing, which it seems to not be a thing between PC and console. And all of this is to say, it looks like they're investing quite a bit of money into Wizard101. And I think the broader point of all of this is that when KingsIsle got acquired by Gamigo a few years ago, I know y'all might remember this, especially if you've been following this for as many years as I have. A lot of people called Gamigo the MMORPG killer. They said that they just acquire titles, they drain them, they milk them for money, and then they call it a day. And I kind of plan on talking about this more in a future video where we really break down how things were before and after. If y'all want to see that, I'd love to make a video on that. And while yes, I will argue there's so many more things that you could pay money for instead of sinking time into, which is not something that's always been a thing in Wiz. I think a very good example of this is stuff like Spellmans, right? You could farm for hours, or you could open packs for any Spellman in the game other than a select few, right? Some might argue that that is milking the game. Some others might argue you could still do it for free, so it's not. While there might be some gray area debates on what Gamigo has done to Wizard101, I think with all the things that have happened just in the previous, you know, couple of months between the last membership period and this one, so much has happened that I really feel like it's hard to see Gamigo being something that's just coming over, milking Wiz until it dies and calling it a day. It really looks like they believe in it. Whether y'all want to agree with me or not, let me know in the comments. But me personally, I think I'm starting to be somewhat able to look past things like, you know, unfortunate timing with, like, you know, the free membership, or maybe even, like, you know, better free membership periods during previous birthdays. I feel like I can look past that considering what it looks like they're doing. It looks like they're, one, expanding to other, you know, things like consoles. Two, they're making spin-offs so they can build the universe out even more. And three, even on what seems to be an off year for them in terms of, like, you know, furthering the plot in Wiz, it looks like the winter update that's coming is bigger even possibly than the world that we got last year. Not to mention on the PvE side of things, compared to the same time last year, y'all, I think they've done a much better job with PvE. I think Wallaroo was an extremely good example of a world done right. I feel like the pacing was great, scenery was beautiful, gear acquisition wasn't ridiculous. All of that is to say is, despite, you know, Wizard101's, you know, unfortunately predictable lackluster birthday months these days, I still think there's a lot to be excited about when it comes to Wiz, and I hope more people, you know, spread that message. I really do. I think that's the honest one. But let me know what you guys are, you know, excited to do during the free week that we have all the way until the 9th. And let me know what you guys are excited about them doing this year. I feel like there's still so much stuff that we're gonna see this year alone. I look forward to reading all of y'all's comments. Drop a like if you enjoyed. Leave us up a review. If you're, like, super behind on Wiz news and this is your first time hopping back into the game, at least hopefully you know there's free membership, and two, you're somewhat caught up. That's all I wanted out of this video. Hopefully y'all enjoyed. As always, if somebody hasn't told you you're awesome today, they doing something wrong. So stay awesome, y'all. See y'all soon. And yeah.